Welcome to Breaking News to Trading Moves. So, the central event grabbing everyone's attention, certainly in tech and investment circles this week, is the official launch of xAI's new platform, Grokipedia.
Yeah, and this isn't just, another website popping up. Our goal here is really to look at the immediate market reactions, what's happening right now because of this specific AI service launch. We need to figure out who's positioned to gain, whose business model suddenly looks, well, a bit pressured.
Exactly right. And for you, the listener, we want to lay out the picture. We're analyzing those initial market reactions across the tech sector, specifically looking at how the infrastructure needs and maybe even how people find information might change when something like this, an AI native knowledge source, goes live. Okay, so let's get into the specifics. What did xAI actually roll out here? It's Elon Musk's xAI launching Grokipedia, and they're positioning it pretty clearly as an AI-built encyclopedia, a rival to, well, the established players like Wikipedia.
That's the core of it. The facts are pretty simple. The site went live October 27th, 2025. Yes, there was that brief outage right at the start, which honestly isn't that unusual for a launch this big.
Yeah.
But what happened after it came back online, that's what the market's really reacting to.
Right, and what happened was scale, a lot of it. When it stabilized, it had somewhere between, 885,000 and 900,000 entries, all AI generated, marked as version 0.1, and the positioning is key, a truth-focused knowledge base run by their Grok model. The speed of getting that much content up, that seems to be a big part of the market reaction.
Absolutely. Speed and scale.
Okay, so let's think about this. A major new AI service, tons of content, launched fast. Who wins immediately? It feels like the foundational layers, right? The companies building the plumbing for it all, the AI infrastructure stack.
Exactly. Think about it. A site like this, aiming for high traffic, serving up AI-generated stuff, it needs huge amounts of compute power and bandwidth. And it's not just a one-off need, it's sustained. They need power for serving the answers that's inference, but also for constantly improving Grok, generating more content that's training. This kind of operational demand, it immediately benefits certain types of companies.
Okay, so that puts the spotlight squarely on, first, AI compute and servers. We're talking NVIDIA, ticker NVDA, advanced micro devices, AMD, and supermicrocomputer, SMCI.
Right. These guys benefit directly because Grokipedia is essentially a big, new, hungry customer for raw computing power. They need those high-performance GPUs, especially from NVIDIA, NVDA, and AMD, and they need the specialized server hardware that can handle these things, cool them, network them efficiently. That's where supermicrocomputer, SMCI, comes in. Every time one of these large-scale AI services spins up, it just drives more demand for that top-tier specialized gear, better margins, more volume for these players.
Okay, so if NVDA, AMD, and SMCI are winning the hardware piece, let's move up the stack a bit. The cloud providers, the ones actually hosting these massive models, Amazon, AMZN, Microsoft, MSFT, and Alphabet, GOGL.
Yep, the hyperscalers. For them, it's about filling up their capacity, especially their premium capacity. Grokipedia running means more demand for those really high-end GPU instances on AWS, Azure, or Google Cloud. It means more demand for storage, for bandwidth. As xAI scales up its operations, these cloud providers see utilization grow, particularly in those expensive, high-margin, AI-focused compute instances. It fuels that cloud war,
Right. And we can't forget the actual ground these things sit on, the physical infrastructure, the data center landlords, companies like Equinix, EQIX, and Digital Realty, DLR.
Their benefit is quite tangible, too. See, AI workloads are different. They're power hogs. They need data centers built for much higher power density, more power draw, more heat generated per square foot than traditional IT stuff. So you need specialized facilities, advanced cooling. That gives companies like Equinix, EQIX, and Digital Realty, DLR, who have invested in that kind of infrastructure, more pricing power. Plus, all the networks needed to deliver Grokipedia content quickly. Those rely heavily on these interconnected data centers, too.
Okay, that covers the beneficiaries, the infrastructure side. Now let's flip the coin. Who potentially faces some pressure here? Which business models might be challenged when you have an AI destination trying to give you the answer directly, maybe keeping you on its platform instead of sending you elsewhere?
That's the key risk, isn't it? The bypass risk. If Grokipedia gives you a good enough synthesized answer fast, do you still need to click through those search results to dig through multiple other sites? Maybe not always. That disrupts the usual way people find information online, especially for sites that really depend on that search traffic coming in.
Okay, so first category, feeling that pressure. Maybe community knowledge and reviews. Thinking about Reddit, RDDT, and Yelpy. Though you might ask, why would an AI encyclopedia hurt Yelp? people go there for human opinions, right?
That's a fair point. The risk isn't necessarily that Grokipedia replaces the trust in a human review on Yelp, Yelp or discussion on Reddit, RDDT. It's more about replacing the discovery, how you find that review or discussion. If the AI can quickly summarize, say, the general consensus from reviews, most users say X, but some complain about Y, maybe a lot of users just stop there. They get the gist without clicking through. So it potentially reduces the traffic flow to those forum posts or review pages. That's the pressure point for RDDT and Yelp.
Got it. Okay, what about study help sites or other reference incumbents, thinking Chegg, CHGG, or maybe even Coursera, COUR?
Well, this is where Grok's ability to synthesize information could be quite potent. If Grokipedia, or just the underlying Grok model through some interface, can give you a direct answer to a specific homework question or reference query that directly competes with services like Chegg, CHGG, which are built around that specific Q&A model for students. Now, Coursera, COUR, is a bit different, more focused on courses, certifications, longer learning paths. But still, if you have a powerful, fast, comprehensive AI reference tool, it could change how people do quick lookups or even discover courses, potentially drawing some queries away from platforms like Coursera.
Okay, and finally, there's a group directly tied to the clicks themselves, the ad and search intermediaries. Businesses that really rely on that click-through volume. Maybe companies like Perion Network, PERI, or Digital Turbine, APPS.
Exactly. Their whole model often revolves around getting a user from a search result or some other starting point to an ad or a monetized destination. They facilitate that click. If Grokipedia successfully keeps the user right there, giving them the answer directly, well, that click just doesn't happen as often. It essentially cuts out the intermediary step. Fewer traditional search clicks mean direct pressure on the revenue models of companies like Perion Network, PERI, and Digital Turbine, APPS, whose business is built on channeling that search traffic. So just to kind of bring it together for you, the listener, this launch really underlines that move towards AI-native reference destinations. These aren't just indexing what's already out there. They're using the AI models themselves to build and synthesize the knowledge base from the ground up.
And we see a pretty clear flow here based on initial reactions. If a platform like this gets traction, the benefits seem to flow first to hardware, the GPUs, the servers, then to capacity, the cloud providers hosting it all, and ultimately even to the physical real estate, the specialized data centers. While on the other side, those established sites that depend heavily on users clicking through from search results, they potentially face some real traffic challenges.
Yeah, it paints a picture of how these new AI services can quickly start to rearrange market dynamics just by changing how users find information.
So here's something to think about as you watch this unfold, maybe as you track these tickles we've mentioned. If XAI can generate nearly 900,000 articles positioned as truth-focused almost instantly, what does that speed and scale do to the idea of content liability? If there are inaccuracies generated at that massive scale, who's ultimately responsible? Is it the AI model? Is it XAI as the owner? Is it the data it was trained on? That question around liability for AI-generated content at scale, that could be the next big factor impacting this whole AI reference space.
That's definitely something worth keeping a close eye on.
And as always, just a mandatory reminder for everyone listening. This material is for informational purposes only. It does not constitute financial advice or any recommendation to buy or sell securities. This content is purely the opinion of the author.